markets. Read this very, very well. Technical analysis type of day, just beautiful across the board. All our key levels being respected across all our major names. Textbook, exactly what you want to see. So I'll do a little bit of a recap of what occurred today, what we were looking for coming into today. And then, of course, you can enjoy the live trading session at the end. Caught a banger of a trade on the video, a bit of an aggressive entry, but just right the type of play it was. It'll make sense once you watch it in the live trading session. So coming into today, something that I said, last week, giving you guys a little bit of tips is you can come into the day with a bias. Don't come into the day marrying a bias, and that's very important as a trader, right? Never marry a bias. So as a great trader, if you want to be a great trader, you got to be able to pivot. And what does that mean, right? Let's say we're bearish bias coming into today, and we're looking for a pop and fade. The pop and fade taps up, but you see the bears are not in control. So okay, I'm not going to force this trade. If the bears are not in control, and I see that this market is very strong, I'm not going to trade against this market. So you got to be able to pivot. And I've been making sure, coming into the trading sessions, I've been giving the Discord plays to both sides. We're being very selective, we're being neutral, and that's really the most important thing right now in this market. Just because we're in ranging markets, we're not in trending markets, so you got to be able to play both ways. So statistically speaking, whenever we have a gap in the market, that first 48 hours, we can look for that to get filled. And today was prime example. So starting off with the pre-market here, coming into today, it looked very promising. I've been talking about 599 forever. We were under 599. We were under the previous day low. If we can get a pop and fade off of this can look really good for more continuation to the downside. Why? Because it's no longer an inside bar week and an inside bar day. And you'll hear me say this pre-market as I'm explaining what am I looking at. This was intriguing to me. The reason that was intriguing is because SPY had a clear break and retest to the downside pre-market. I didn't like the consolidation at 599. We didn't have a clear, break and retest. We had a break and all right, now we're consolidating. So when market opens, we see who wins here. Is it going to be the bears or is it going to be the bulls? And obviously today it was the bulls. So that was very important. And you'll see me break this down here. I'm going into market open. So as I said here, pre-market was, hey, both SPY, QQQ sitting right under the previous day low and previous week low. We can see some more downside on the market if we can stay under these levels. QQQ is sitting right near our 599. So we need to be patient to see if this rejects or reclaims. This market can very well rally at open to fill its gap. So let's be patient. This was at 612. And right, live by the sword, die by the sword. And these things with experience, right? The gap has to get filled. A lot of traders are going to come in and they're going to be very trigger happy, looking to short, looking for the gap and go, and they get crushed on the morning downside, those bear traps. And that's exactly what happened, coming into today. If you go to the 1 minute time frame here on Qs, at one point, this candle was a strong bearish candle to the downside. So we actually went red to green. So it looked like we were going to get that gap and go continuation here at open, and that did not occur clearly, as we can see. So, right, we knew our key level here, 599.35, was the key level here to determine, are we going to stay heavy or are we going to go to the upside? And then going here to SPY, this was also something that was very intriguing to me, is I was going to be a little cautious here looking for shorts because I don't want to go short into a weekly level, right? Like I said here, we ended up getting the break and retest off our key level, which was also the previous week's low. You can see that wick here and we opened down here. So it looked very promising pre-market. Pre-market, I was bearish bias, but I did not like this. I didn't like these candles basing above 677. That's a weekly level. It got respected here, breaking retest. We got that reclaim, wick off of it. We're coming back, and now we're starting to do that. So that was also a red flag for me to, not really jump the gun here at market open, looking for the downside. So today we reclaimed key levels. We filled the gap on the overall market and on a lot of our tech names. But on the downside, we are back in a range. And that's not necessarily what I was looking for. I was looking for more continuation to the downside, breaking outside of the week's previous low. But now we're back in a range on SPY and Q. So that's something to keep in mind moving forward. And lastly, like I said, what I really want you to understand here and what I want to show you guys is I'm giving setups here to both sides, right? Plan your trade, trade your plan. And very simple here. Off our key levels, no matter what. And we're letting QQQ pick the direction. So on Tesla, and I'm going to show you here in a sec how all these things played out. Tesla, looking for a pullback short off of 395.95. If the market wants to stay strong along off of this level, will be valid to fill in the gap. I ended up taking the video right off my 178, pull back short off of these two key levels. We can look for a long If we look for a long, it would be off of 178. Why? Because we reclaimed two key levels, we reclaimed the previous day low, and we filled the gap. So if that sets up, which it did, that's telling me the bulls are 100% in control. And then AMD, short under 193.30. Major support level here. If we break under this, we can finally see the gap fill to the downside from October. And if we hold this, we can see a pullback up into the previous day low and 203. Red Photo News at 7 a.m. And everything set up on the dot today, which was beautiful. So coming into the day, right, being prepared for both ways. So starting with Tesla, ignore the noise. Our key level, 395.95. We know we're not looking for a pop and fade because the market was very strong. You ended up getting your break. You got your retest. You got that continuation back up to the top of the range, and we filled the gap. Beautiful here on Tesla. AMD, you ended up getting the break and retest over 193.30. Like I said, you got that push back up into the previous day low. And then NVIDIA. All right, we're prepared for both sides. Coming into today on NVIDIA, also bearish bias pre-market. Looking for a pop and fade off of 174.90, looking for a pop and fade off of 178.05. And if we reclaim this weekly level, we can see a pullback back into our weekly key level here on the higher time frame. And that's exactly what happened. Like I said, we reclaimed, we filled the gap, we got over the previous day low. The bulls are 100% in control. You'll see the entry that I took here on the video to the upside, playing 0 DTEs, textbook play. So that's really, what I want you to understand here moving forward. The market's in a range. So don't marry a bias. Be open to having plays setting up to both sides, to the upside and to the downside. Let this market navigate which way we're going to go. And then, of course, see if you can spot some names that have relative strength or relative weakness compared to the market, aka divergence. So super solid day here on the market. Moving forward, we just got to be cautious. Today was a good day, but not a good day. And the reason it wasn't a good day is because we're just back. This is not what we want to see. We're back in this range. We're dead smack in this range. We're in between the previous week's high and the previous week's low. We have been ranging in between 613 and 599. So that's just something to keep in mind, keep in the back of your mind moving forward. I hope you guys had a good start to the week, good start to the day and month. And just know, moving forward, just continue to be risk managers. We are still in a ranging market. Until we break outside of this range on the SPY and on NQ, then we can look to step on the gas. So enjoy the live trading session. I hope you guys are able to learn from this, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, let's get into it. Hope everyone had a great weekend. So, first things first, starting with the overall market coming into today, I'm going to be very patient this first 15, 30 minutes here at market open. I know, right, a lot of people come into the day uh, looking to anticipate moves, looking to predict, right? And our job is to react, not predict. So our key level here is 599.35. I have to be very patient to see, do we hold this, right? Do we reject 599 and see some downside, or do we reclaim this level on QQQ? And if so, we can definitely see this gap fill play on the intraday. All we have to do is go to the weekly level here, weekly time frame. And when you look at the weekly, our 599.35 has been holding for the last 4 weeks in a row. So a break and retest under this is a very big deal. And we can see a move down here into 587.85. So that's really what I want to see here coming into market open. Do we hold under this or do we reclaim this? Statistically speaking, the market, whenever we have a very large gap or just a gap in general, we can see that gap get filled within the first 48 hours. So, you can see we're kind of consolidating here, right? The Bulls and the Bears are, flirting with this 599.35. So coming into today, I just want to see who wins that battle. SPY, right? I would be very cautious, coming into today, automatically looking to short some things just because SPY is pulling into this weekly 677.25. We can very much do that. We can very well do that. You can see we're under the previous day low. We're under the previous week's low. Pre-market, we got a nice projection here, and we see us pulling into the 677.25. So if SPY wants to stay heavy, this looks good, right? Key level to key level. And if we get under 677, we can definitely see a pullback here to the pre-market low and our key level below that. So that's what's setting up on the SPY. Now for my close watches, going to be Tesla. Tesla's very heavy right now. So, right, if I don't get a trade on Tesla, so be it. It's sitting really in no man's land. I would look for really a rejection, right? A pop and fade off of 395.95 or a reclaim over this, filling the gap if the market wants to stay strong. If we don't get it, right, so be it. We can just see what we do down here at 383.20. But if Tesla just opens in here, I'm pretty much just hands off here. But going into the week, we would just wait for a retest on this down the road. Even this has a gap. This is the gap fill up here. We're under the previous day low. So we'll see what happens on Tesla. As of right now, probably one of the strongest tech names to the downside during the pre-market. NVIDIA, right off the pre-market plan, or close watch, I should say. Just looking for, a pop and fade off of 174.90, looking for that continuation into 170. The previous day close is really right here. So if we reclaim 174.90, and like I said, Qs wants to stay strong, we can see, right, a pullback into 178, which is also the gap fill play, and the retest of 178 on the daily. So that's what's setting up here on NVIDIA. Key level here is going to be 174, 178. Let's see what we do there. And then, of course, AMD. If AMD holds this 193, I would not be surprised. This is a very strong support level. If you just go out here on the daily, you can see this has been our key level that has been holding us up, this 193. If we can finally turn this into resistance, we can see a pullback here into 187 and start filling the gap that we've had since October. So these are my main three on the close watch coming into today: AMD, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Right. So what do we do here on AMD? We can very much hold this. I even have this labeled as very strong support. Right. We can definitely see this. I mean, you can see here we broke it, turned it into resistance, got the reclaim, turned it back into support during the pre-market. So we can definitely see that. If we hold this, we could see a pullback here back into the previous day low and fill in a gap. And then, of course, if we give this up, we can see a pullback here to 191. Uh, actually, that's if the IV is too high. I might have to skip this. Let's see. I know it had earnings. Yeah, we'll see. Because I know it has earnings, but you can see the IV is not too elevated. So I'm going to be cautious on this, but it looks good. If it sets up, it sets up. As of right now, the IV is sitting at 70, so that's fine with me. Yeah, CQ's looking a little strong here, so let's see if we reject. I want to see our reaction here. You can see NVIDIA's already reclaiming 174.90. We got about 10 minutes here until market opens. I'm assuming 10 seconds. Okay, relative weakness here on AMD. NVIDIA's filling the gap. Q's is rejecting 599, so there's actually relative strength here on NVIDIA. So let's see if NVIDIA can get back under 174. Let's see if AMD can give us a retest. Really nothing right now on Tesla. And so very quick green to red here on, right? Like I said, I know some people are going to come in looking to short this, looking to chase the downside. We can very much fill this gap. This is a very big key level. If we hold this on Qs, we can see 606. Very strong open here on the market. Very strong open. NVIDIA is in play here. A break and retest over 178, like I said, off the close watch list is very valid. Right now, the market is very strong, filling the gap. NVIDIA is following. So NVIDIA is my main watch right now. Let's see if we can get a break and retest over 178.05. QQQ reclaimed is 599.35, which is a very big deal. So let's see what sets up here. Like I said, AMD can definitely hold 193. So if that holds, we can definitely see a pullback here to the upside on AMD as well. So let's see if that was just a peak and fails to trap the bears. Very strong open here. If NVIDIA gets over 178, as of right now, it's already over the previous day high. It's already filled the gap. So let's see if we can get a long over 178 here on NVIDIA. And so I would be looking at the fourth expiration. Not looking to short this market. Very strong here on Tesla as well. Let's see if Tesla can pull back to 395. But main focus right now is going to be NVIDIA and AMD. I would not be surprised if AMD holds this 193.30, which is the bottom of the range. Like I've been saying, this has really been the key level holding us up. You can see all these names are starting to move to the upside now. I'm looking at NVIDIA here on this reclaim with momentum. Very aggressive entry. Fingers on the trigger. All right, I'm long NVIDIA. I'm playing the momentum here. Sort of third there. Let's see if this can hold. Definitely an aggressive entry, but I'm playing the momentum. Nice. Market's very strong right now. Q's is a rocket. Spy's a rocket. Like I said, this market can definitely fill this gap. Beautiful. Strong push here. Sort of third my position to that first momentum push, so able to sit in this. Just go red to green. This could be a very strong pop here. See what sets up. I'm a little bit more aggressive with my scaling because I'm playing with zeros here. I know we're a little extended. Let's see if we can get this pop. See this get this push. Nice. Nice. There we go. There we go. Let's see if we can continue to get this push to the upside here. Nice. This is a big trade here on NVIDIA. Very big trade. Stop loss on the rest is going to be at least break even for me. I know this happened really, really fast, guys. Was anyone able to catch this? I know I called out the Wednesday expiration. With these conditions, I don't want you guys playing zeros. It was too much room. That was very, very aggressive. I was just playing the momentum there, guys. Once I saw this candle close, I really played this instant retest, playing the momentum here. I don't even know how much I made on that. Yeah, that was a solid trade. Solid trade. I would look, honestly, we could really look for a re-entry here. We still have to retest this. Still have to retest this. So let's see what sets up here. Like I said, this was honestly textbook. Just reading this, like this was a big deal. I didn't like that we were just doing this at this key level. I wanted us to see like, okay, displacement pre-market and retest, reclaim here, right? Like I said, the first 48 hours, we can expect the gap to be filled on the market. We're filling the gap. I said, if we get over this, we can see 606 here. This is all we've been doing since last week, right? All we have to do is just look left. We get down to 599 and buyers just defend and push this thing back up to the upside. Not ideal to go into the week, honestly, just because now we're back in the range. I wanted us to stay under the previous week's low, so it's not really ideal here. Let's see if we can hold NVIDIA on this retest. If you guys can catch that, don't stress. That was a very aggressive entry. As soon as I saw, pretty much the bulls in control here, let's see what Tesla does. Let's see what Tesla does. reclaimed our daily. We got back over the previous day low, and we filled the gap here on the video. So once I saw this candle close, I really just was reading this candle, looking for the momentum, right? So I played the instant break and retest, but that was an aggressive entry. Just because I was playing with a zero, I wanted to take my entry as close as possible here to my key level. So I was able to net like roughly over 10%, but don't stress if you missed that. That was very aggressive. Tesla's in play. We'll see. AMD is in play to the downside, actually. Let me make sure that IV is not elevated. Yeah, IV looks good here. I would need a break and retest on AMD. It's a conservative play too because it's weekly expiration. We are under the previous day low here on AMD. QQQ is pulling back to retest the previous day low. Yeah, that was not ideal. So you can see pre-market, we pretty much held 594.90 on the dot and just bounced. We really needed this to turn into resistance. Support, support, support. And now we just reclaim that. I would have liked to hold this longer, but I can't with a zero. See, the thing is, yeah, Q's is retesting his previous day low and a very strong retest. Yeah, we could look for Tesla here. Tesla has a gap fill play to the upside too. Honestly, it's just gonna be very hard to short this, to short anything right now with the market being this strong. Because I'm really not spotting too much relative weakness here on AMD. What's the previous day close here on Tesla? Yeah, reclaim on Tesla is valid. The previous day close is 402, so this would just be Q level to Q level. Let's see, we still have red folder news at 7 a.m. One sec, guys. Yeah, the gap is 607. Gap fill here is going to be 686 on SPY. I see SPY's rejecting off the daily. This is also the previous week's low. Right now, it's retesting on the 1 minute. Yeah, you can see, right? This market's moving higher. I don't want to get caught in a fake out. It's a very bullish market right now. See what I mean? Easy skip here, just because you see the market's just bullish on the intraday. So you see these hammer stick candles and think, okay, maybe we can get a short, but yeah, this is a big retest here on SPY. So two things we can look for is really a break and retest here, like I said, on Tesla off of 395.95, filling the gap all the way back up to the top of the range, 402. It's a good RR from here to the previous day low. Yeah, big retest here on SPY. Yeah, SPY held that. So SPY is also reclaiming the previous week's low and the daily low. So we know as of right now, we are bullish on this market. We kind of want to see Tesla break this high and then get a retest off of 395.95. That's right off the close watch. I said if the market wants to stay strong, we can play along off this, fill in the gap as well. So you can look for a break and retest over this, looking for, I'm not messing with a zero on Tesla. Let's see. Fourth expiration. Give me one sec. Yeah, we can play fourth or sixth expiration on Tesla. If you want the more conservative play, right, you can play the weekly expiration on Tesla, which is the sixth. The fourth, I would be looking at the 397.50 calls on Tesla, or even the 400 calls. The 400 calls has the most volume and open interest on the fourth expiration on Tesla. Yeah, Delta looks good on both of those. So you can look at the 397.50 calls or the 400 calls on Tesla. See what sets up. You got your candle closure above these two candles. That's good displacement. Now you would just look for that. Clearly, right, you zoom out, you can see we are not bearish on Tesla. This thing's trending higher. We opened up at 388. Right now we're sitting at 397, 398. So almost a $10 here on Tesla. So not too extended. I'll say Tesla's starting to get a little extended once we hit like maybe 15, $16. So Tesla looks good. Really, we'll just wait for a retest now. AMD is a conservative one too. You can get a retest here off of 193.30, targeting the high day, and then really back to the previous day low. But when you look at three of our names here, now we're pretty exhausted here on the video. That was a very strong open. And then maybe now we're just starting to sit sideways a little bit here on AMD. So you can see Tesla as of right now is the only one that really has a clear direction. And this market does not look like it's slowing down. I mean, even over the previous day low here on Tesla, it's a valid play. Yeah, guys, don't stress if you miss this. This was very aggressive. This was 3 minutes after market open. That was 3 minutes. What does this time say? Yeah, 6:33. That was a very aggressive entry. Yeah, very strong here on AMD. Let's see. A lot of uh a lot of instant break and retest, which I'm not really a fan of. You got an instant right break and then retest here on AMD. You got an instant break, decent displacement on Tesla, and then your retest here, but I'm not really a fan of an instant break and retest. Let's see. Oh yeah, you caught a dot, Jason. Yeah, you caught a dot. Scale out into those pushes and hold something and see if you can just get that continuation to the upside. But you caught a dot off the previous day low here. You already got the break to the high day. So super solid trade. Right. It's reasons like this where, I do draw, as I say, treat your levels like mini zones. That way you can still look for an entry. Right? Because you see your displacement here, right? You see your wicks here. You just play that reclaim with momentum. Yeah, beautiful price action here. Beautiful price action here. Get over that. Yeah, good trade, Jason. Solid trade. Yeah, that's beautiful. Let's see what is QQQ doing. Yeah, you had the better pick because thank you, man. Thank you. That was very aggressive. I know it was really quick. Once I saw that, I saw my opportunity with a zero. I said, yeah, I got to take this shot. Just these first two candles. That's just how very strong it was. Yeah, you had the better pick with SPY because it's just cleaner price action on SPY compared to Q's. Q's had a very strong open, so it may be a little exhausted. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, the best thing today is longs, right? At least I would not look to short anything. I would not look to short anything. Even if some of these names fall under some key levels, it's just I do not want to trade against this market. Just wow, Q's went from opening 597. I'm just gonna round that to 598 here. Yeah, 598, and then yeah, look crazy open. And then we're defending this previous day low. So I think we can see this. Let's see what Red Photo News does at 7 a.m. But I think we can see that. Yeah, I knew not to get greedy with Nvidia. Of course, I wanted to like hold that last third and see if we get that push, but with zeros, you've got to move quick. And I'm happy how it sold on these pushes here. It was a very nice trade because I can't sit in this on a zero. I can't afford to. I don't have time on my side. Yeah, solid. See what happens here on some of these other names. Yeah, Apple doing what Apple does best. Shop. Never got a retest here on Amazon. Inside bar day on the same. Yeah, you got a solid reclaim here. Nice to see this level get respected. I know you guys saw me insert a new key level here on Microsoft, which was just this 4 hour. I noticed this was like a very important level. This market wants to stay heavy, even a break and retest over, I'm sorry, stay strong. That's 2 days in a row now. That's not a coincidence. So if we close under this tomorrow, I would look for something like that. That looks, I'm sorry, close under this today. That looks good for tomorrow. This is a solid trade. But even here, inside bar day on Microsoft, you got a break and retest over 390, 230. You guys notice with the close watches, I'm pretty much giving a game plan to either side, right? A pop and fade off of this, like I said, or a break and retest, fill in the gap here. We're still very neutral on this market. So I came into today with a bearish bias just because we gapped down. Once I saw Qs kind of like fill that gap and reclaim 599, I say, yeah, the Bulls are definitely in control. So strong here on Microsoft. Sucks though. It definitely sucks. Like good day, but just how I'm looking at it, for the future, just moving forward, it looked promising that we were under 599. So I'm thinking, oh man, if we can get towards this and then we break under this, we're almost off the range. We are almost out of the range. So there's some volatility here for intraday trades, but I did not want this 599 to hold, honestly. Just look how strong this level is. Buyers are really defending this 599. Golly. And now we're just like back in between the previous week's high and the previous week's low, which is not really ideal here. So we got about 3 minutes here till Red Folder News. Let's see what sets up. Yeah, strong here on the SPY. Like I said, coming into today, I would be very cautious shorting just because SPY was sitting right at this 677. I would not want to take a short on some names here into a SPY weekly support level. So I hope that makes sense. Right, you're going to build your game plan based off your key levels on the SPY and Qs. Right, so this is what helps you right skip a trade. Right, you may get a break and retest to the downside, but you're thinking, I don't think that's a good trade because then I would be going short into a weekly support level on Qs. I'm sorry, on SPY, and if that bounces, can't be surprised if I get stopped out. So before I even come into the day and I'm looking at the tech names, the first two things I'm looking at is SPY and QQQ. You got to look at those first and see what are those two doing. And then once you make your way to your tech names to build your pre-market game plan, now you're looking for names that's in sync with the market or has relative strength or weakness compared to the market in the pre-market. I hope that makes sense. I actually just recorded a video on my pre-market plan routine and how I build my pre-market plan coming into today. So that'd be really good to help you guys out. Let's see. Yeah, strong day here on the market. You can see, yeah, Jason, you probably got the best trade to be honest, because I think for me, it definitely, if I didn't catch this on the video, it'd probably be a cash day. All right, we can see what happens here after red folder news, but right, never got a retest here on the video. Pretty exhausted. Um, Tesla, you got an instant break and retest, but you can see we pushed up into the previous day low. We are trying to hold our level here. So this is something I'll be looking for on a retest, just waiting for that momentum to kick in. And then really no clear direction on AMD, to be honest. And we can't even touch AMD until after earnings now. Today was probably the only day. And then there's really nothing else on the other tech names. Got about 1 minute here. Give me one sec. Let's see what sets up. Yeah, we have two. Today is the so the forecast here is 51. Forecast here is 60. And then okay, solid. Wow. Wow. Forecast was 60. This is 70. Wow. Okay. Typically, you want to wait, right, about 2 minutes after red folder news and then let that fluctuate. But yeah, we're bullish here on the intraday. Let's see. And honestly, there's really no names that set up. Uh, yeah, you can see really just sideways on a lot of these names. You knew you wouldn't look for a pop and fade off of Tesla because the market was very strong. Ignore the previous day low. We use that as context for obvious reasons. You can see the pop and fade off of that. Um, we are battling around our daily 395, but you can see a lot of these names are really sitting sideways. Bullish on the intraday, right? But around key levels, just no reactions. Maybe AMD for a scalp back up into the high day you would have gotten, but yeah, Palantir, really nothing. Uh, Big gap here on Palantir as well. The previous day close is here. The previous day high is here. So you're bullish here. Yeah, on a lot of our names, really not too much. See IWM. Yeah, very strong here. Very strong on IWM. Yeah, you just got a big breakout, no retest. It's typically what happens when we just have a big gap. You can expect a big breakout like that. Yeah, not too much. Not too much. Very strong here on Microsoft. Reclaimed this previous day low, got back over the daily, broke above the previous day high. So Microsoft was a strong one here. Not the cleanest price action, but very strong. You got a very clean break and retest here. You got to push with basically zero down close candles up into this 4 hour. I saw it. Let's see. See, the real key level here is 395 here on Tesla. You probably would have got a pop and fade off the previous day low for a scalp, but buyers are actually trying to hold this if you look at this on the 15. Another example here on why I treat my levels like mini zones. I get asked this question a ton. Always about this. And it's just very hard because if you do this, right, look at that, and then you get stopped out, but it's still holding, and right. So when you treat it like a mini zone, you're able to have a clear picture and let the trade actually play out. Where is this? Let's see. Yeah, solid here on AMD. Like this is what you were really wait for. I don't like instant break and retests. That's going to lead to more fake outs. So this was solid. Got the break, you got the retest, and now you're getting this push up into the high day. That's a solid entry. That's what you would want, right? So here on Tesla, this is what you want, and then you would want that retest. I don't like an instant break and retest. The remember, displacement is the most important entry criteria. I think that might be it, guys. I don't really see anything setting up. A very strong open here on the overall market. A very strong open. Let's see, it's 7:05. I'll give this 7:30. Yeah. Absolutely, Jason. And kudos to you, man. Like to take that trade on your own, that's beautiful. That's what we want, right? So you able to make an analysis on your own and put on the risk. That's the only way you get better. So kudos to you. That was a solid trade. And honestly, that was like yeah, my trade was a winning trade, but your trade was really the best trade. Look at that. You really have the best trade of the day. That's just like this is a lot of confluences here. It's a weekly level. It's a previous day low, right? And then if you reclaim this, you're looking for the gap fill. This was honestly the A plus like trade of the day. So kudos to you. That was a great trade. Really good trade. So just make sure, right? You journal it. What did you do? And then you rinse and repeat. That's all you do. Lean on your strengths. What did you do correct? And then you make sure you try and repeat that. So that was solid. That was a great trade on SPY. I definitely think we can see this gap fill today. Man, what a rocket. Yeah, that's beautiful. Your thesis is correct as long as you're above 681. Your thesis never got invalidated. Never got invalidated. So great trade. Trended higher. That was a really good dot. Absolutely, man. You deserve it. Kudos to you. Good job. So I think that might be it, guys. Especially with these market conditions, you know I'm very big on being one and done. Uh, I would say the AMD definitely gave us a solid setup for the upside. AMD, this is such an important level. We are not giving this up. Look at the wick right off of this. Like I said, if we hold this, we can see a pullback into the previous day low and back into 203. We got to get under this to fill this gap. Such a strong level here. And buyers stepped up. We got the break and retest. So AMD set up right off the close watch as well here. This was the better entry, right? Break and retest. You got your displacement. And now this thing's really taken off because now we're breaking above the high day. Just made a new high. So AMD was the A plus shot as well. We knew this was our key level. Weekly, I never have things specified, but I have this labeled as very strong for a reason. So a couple of peak and fails here. Peak and fell, peak and fell. Dang. Oh, good trade, Jason. 36%. All right, guys. Everyone's meeting Jason. Drinks are on him today. What a shot. That was a great trade. That was a great trade. Only got to tell me once. Only got to tell me once. But good job today, guys. A good way to really start off the week strong. Like I said, I know this NVIDIA trade was very, very fast, but don't let FOMO kick in. Really nothing else set up besides AMD. AMD was the only thing. And this set up basically just now. It's 7:09. AMD set up at 7 o'clock, 7:01. Right? So that was solid here on AMD. Our analysis was spot on coming into the market. It was spot on. Just being patient and waiting. Like I said, right, something you can journal is if you have a big gap or pretty much any gap in the market, you can expect that gap to get filled within the first 48 hours. And right, we said that before market opens, and lo and behold, right, statistics don't lie, right? That helps you. Having statistics and data build your edge. And you can see we're I think we'll fill the gap, especially with SPY being very strong. I think we'll fill this gap, but very, very strong open here on the market, right? We knew, all right, we gap down. I've been in the market long enough. I've lost plenty of times. Being that beginner trader is all right, cool. We're under. I'm gonna force shorts, right? And like I just said last week, which I thought was a good lesson, you can come into the day with a bias. You always hear don't come in. No, come into the day with a bias. Be prepared. Have a pre-market plan. Don't marry the bias. Be able to pivot, right? So our pivot here was 599. If we get back over that, all right, cool. Our bears bias is out the window. We reclaim this, the bulls are in control. So solid here. Analysis pre-market. I think we picked some good names for our close watch. Right, see Tesla starting to hold. Yeah, a lot of lessons in today, even if you don't take a trade. And this is my biggest one. This is why I treat my levels like mini zones. Because if you just have a hard key level here, right, you're gonna get stopped out. And you gotta understand, like, yeah, this thing just needs a little bit of room. So many tech, no bias, but I agree with you. Just don't exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like you want to come into the day a little bit prepared, right? So I can have like to me, today I came in bearish bias, right? In the pre-market plan, say, hey, I'm bearish bias, but let's watch 599. Let's see what we do here. So key level here on Tesla, right? This is why another lesson here that depending on where the previous day high and low is, I'll take a trade off of it for continuation. But this is the real hold. That's the real hold off our key level. And then if you understand how liquidity works, right? That's why I treat it like a mini zone because I understand, yeah, I may get stopped out here, but it's just a liquidity grab before the actual moves happen. So now you can see, right, that all the news paths, all these names are starting to gravitate higher. Now you can see. So it was solid here. Yeah, NVIDIA was just way too. NVIDIA was just identical twins with QQQ. Yeah, Tesla momentum starting to pick up here. AMD is a beautiful one. And then right, we threw the bears off the. Even though, and this is a big one. This is a really big one. How do you avoid losses? Just don't trade against the market. So I understand we're under the previous day low here. Just trying to give you guys some key lessons here on things I've learned over time. But very strong open on SPY and Qs. So you'll look at something like this and be like, okay, cool, that's my pop and fade signal. And yeah, that is a confirmation candle, right? You get hammer stick, strong momentum to the downside, but you don't want to take that. Why? Because the market is trending higher, and then you would have just got squeezed out for a loss. Same thing here on AMD. Very strong downside. This was just a bear trap. That's all that was. You got an instant break and retest. You may think, okay, cool, I can short off this. This looks good, making lower lows, but the market's just too strong, trending. So you know you're not looking for any shorts. And right, we were able just to avoid some fake outs here. So solid day over all around. So many tech, no bias, but yeah. So good job today, guys. Now, yeah, see Tesla starting to pick up. If Tesla can reclaim this previous day low, which is also the high of day, this thing's going to take off. It's definitely going to take off. So when in doubt between a previous day high and a low, you always, always, always default to your key level on the higher time frame. This level is stronger than this level, and now you're seeing why. This is great for a scalp. We got the base, and now buyers are stepping up here. Solid day. Uh, Crazy. 599 is a crazy level. Crazy level. Let's see. I think that is it. Is there anything else for me to cover? I'm just gonna run through these really quick. See what's up. Uh, yeah, you can see a lot of the tech names now are starting to move to the upside. Yeah. Inside bar day on a couple of these names, but Microsoft is strongest on the. Good question, Michael. Let me see. Kind of just missed this break and retest over the 4 hour here on Microsoft, and it's a good confluence because it was with the previous day high, so just missed that. Um, I were you something you can eye. Yeah, kind of extended now. Let me see. I don't want to waste your time, Michael. I'm looking for you. Honestly, you can watch Palantir for a break and retest over 144.85. Market's moving higher and it's not extended. When you zoom out here, right, we're above the previous day high. So if you want to look for something, it would really be off of this. I'm not looking for shorts just because this market is so strong, even though it's a very big gap to the downside. But I would look for a break and retest over 144.85 if that sets up. That's the only name right now. And then it would be a break over the after hours high and the high of day. So that would be solid on Palantir. That's the only trade that I see right now that's actually worth taking. So you can see it's setting up now. I would look for that. Let's see. Yeah, Palantir's worth it. Break and retest over this is a solid shot. Yeah, took NVIDIA to the upside. Yeah, you could Palantir looks good. A break and retest over Palantir looks solid. It's really a gap and go. No, don't beat yourself up. Like every day the market's going to give us an opportunity. Palantir, I'm sorry, Nvidia happened very quick. I took this on the zero over 178, and I took this at 1633. So this was a very aggressive quick trade, right? No one else caught this, I don't think. So don't beat yourself up on it. Everything else pretty much has played out from the pre-market plan. You got your reclaim on 395 on Tesla. Tesla moves very well in the underlying, so I'll push into this previous day low is solid. We got the break and retest over AMD. This is a strong support level. And then Palantir. Palantir is something you can watch right now. Palantir looks solid. If you reject 144, kind of just ignore it. You want to see this resistance turn into support, and you can see it push up into 148. Let's see what this market's doing. Yeah. Yeah, don't FOMO and force anything, because now where the overall market is sitting, you don't want to go long into a resistance level here on Tesla. I'm sorry, on Qs, which you can see is sellers are starting to step up here. So we still got the whole week ahead of us. Don't even stress it. Let's see what SPY's doing. Yeah, SPY is just really respecting technical analysis right now. Just our 686.30. It's just respected on the dot. Just like wicks right off of it. This is the night exactly. Live to see another day. So you're all good, but today's a win because you didn't lose any money. So just you gotta look at it like that. There was really no setups on the tech names. I didn't expect Microsoft to be as strong as it was. Yeah, Microsoft's ripping right now. Yeah. So this is probably one of the few names that actually does not have an inside bar today. Just straight upside on the 15-minute here on Microsoft. So, man, yeah. Yeah, Tesla looks good. So that's a lot of key lessons here on Tesla. This is why I say like your higher time frame key levels is always going to outpower your previous day high and lows. You really just use the previous day high and low for continuation. So what do I mean by that? Let's say I miss an entry down here. I would just look for a break and retest long over the previous day low. It doesn't make sense to go short into a daily support level. And what do you notice, right? We just went resistance, we broke, and we just turned this 395 into support. This is the key level to take a trade, and look at that. Beautiful. Got in at 395, now we're pushing up to 399. That's the key level there. We base, that's why you treat it like a zone. Buyer step up, push higher, beautiful. New high a day. You would trail it, and then your stop loss would now just be under this previous day low. It's a green trade, it's a risk-free trade. Yeah, like nothing on Nvidia. Nvidia is dead now. Nvidia was just like a very strong open, and I was just playing the momentum here. Yeah, I think Tesla can start to take off. Let's see. Yeah, Tesla's taking off. Give me one sec. Yeah, see, this is what I really liked about Tesla, just because that's a big gap. And this was a dot, right? Just looking for a pullback short, right? If pre-market wants to stay strong, which it is, along off of this level, filling the gap is valid too. And just on the dot, you got the reclaim over 395, and now we're pushing higher, filling the gap. So just being neutral, making sure I'm coming into the game, into the day, having a neutral game plan to both sides, right? If Q's rejected that 599, this pop and fade is very valid off of Tesla, but that wasn't the case. Let's see. Okay. So good day, guys. I will have the trade recap later. Of course, the pre-market game plan. Good job, Jason. Solid. 36%. That was solid. I know you missed it, Michael. Jason said stakes are on him, so we'll be meeting up with him later. And then good way, Noah, not to FOMO into anything. You as well, Michael. I know that happened very quick. You guys didn't miss anything. We got the whole week ahead of us. So I'll break this down later. Enjoy your day, quick work day, and then I will see you guys in the morning.